Welcome everybody, this is Jason and today's workshop is Positive Thinking Part 3. It's a continuation of the last two workshops. This workshop will be learning all about overlays. This workshop focuses on overlays instead of full body poses. What's an overlay? Whereas a full body pose locks all of the joints in AU scale all the way down the joint hierarchy, an overlay only does this for the joints that you selected. So it looks sort of like this. So you see, she's able to walk, she's able to move her lower body, only the upper body, only from the spine to the fingertips is actually locked. So that it creates sort of a natural pose for her to carry the weapon like that. If we're making an overlay with an accessory, the first thing that we need to do is make an accessory template. To get started, you would need to find a suitable accessory to make a posing template with. This isn't strictly necessary, but it's important for understanding the process. I provided one of my weapon accessories in the resource post. To get started, you would open the mesh in SimPE and select the GMDC in the resource tree and the resource list. Then, in the plugin view, make sure that all of the checkboxes are selected and click on Export. Export the OBJ to your project folder. Open Milkshape and then open one of the animation templates. Select File, Import, Wavefront OBJ. Import the OBJ that we exported from SimPE. We can see that the accessory is intended for the right hand, so that's the joint that the object needs to be assigned to. So we're still in modeling mode. We're not in animation mode yet. We need to assign that accessory to the right hand. In the Joints tab, we look for our hand in the joint hierarchy and double-click to select. The joint should turn green. Then we hold down Shift, we move to the Groups tab, and we select the frame and the lens groups. Once we've selected those turn red. You need to hold down the Shift because once you select the joint, if you go to the Groups tab and then select the groups, without holding Shift, it will unselect the joint. We hop back over to the Joints tab and we click Assign. That will assign the object to that joint so that you can more accurately articulate the overlay. Then you save the template as a Milkshape file and you can now use it as a template to articulate your overlays. Articulating the overlay. Now that we've built the template, we can make an overlay based on it. With the template open, we now enter animation mode. Then, before moving any joints, select the Animate menu and uncheck Operate on Selected Joints Only. Then, select Animate Set Keyframe. The entire skeleton will turn yellow. Now, select Animate Delete Keyframe. The keyframe will be erased. Finally, we reselect Operate on Selected Joints Only. We can now articulate the pose as we normally would. Make sure to rotate all of the joints, even the unused ones, to lock them in place and make the animation less choppy. This includes the clavicles, the biceps, and the wrists. If you're not using the joint, you can rotate it just a teeny tiny bit, like 1 with 4 zeros and a 1, and then hit rotate and that will lock the joint. After you've finished, select Animate Set Keyframe. Now you'll notice that only the joints that you've rotated are locked. Export the pose and build the pose as you normally would. Let's go to SimPE first. I'm going to do Thorgrim's Maul. That's the one that's in the picture there. So, yep. We just export all of those like so. Go back up to my project folder, and I'm just going to resave that as mol. Now, let's open one of the animation templates. Let's use the male. So, we remain in modeling mode. We don't enter animation mode yet. Let's go import, wavefront, and let's grab our mol. So you can see this is intended for the right hand. So we go to our joints tab, we double click on right hand. Then hold down shift, go to groups, and select that frame. Hop back over to joints and assign. And then before we get ahead of ourselves, we save as.
So, how do you get it to look like the wireframe? Because mine's like a solid in my milk shape. The Animesh.
Hold up. Mol template. I'm just going to save it over the one that I already did. Mol template. To control your viewports, right click here. You have options wireframe,
Oh.
flat shaded, smooth shaded,
Oh, okay.
textured. I normally keep that on wireframe for the 3 viewports. I don't know why. Okay. So we've created the template. Next, we just go to ANIM. Hold up.
How did you assign that again? You went to the joint and clicked the right hand, and then shift clicked the right hand?
Hold up. So we open our template, we file, import,
Uh-huh.
wavefront object,
Mm-hmm.
grab our mol. We don't really need the lens, so we can get rid of that. It's just a placeholder.
The groups. We
Then,
can delete.
yeah,
Okay.
you can delete from the group or just the vertex.
Okay.
Doesn't super matter. Let's select. Remember, we're still in modeling mode. We're not in anim mode.
Yeah.
We double click right hand,
Double click it.
hold
Okay.
down shift, move
Uh-huh.
to groups, select frame, move back to
Ah,
joints, and assign. Just like that.
thank you. Okay.
If you put it on, instead of show skeleton, put it on draw vertices with bone colors, you can see if you assigned it correctly
Oh
because
yeah,
the hammer
that's
will have the same color as the hand.
that's a good tip.
In which
Let's
view?
Okay, so still on the joint tab, make sure
Uh-huh.
to remove colored groups first because I had it on colored groups for some reason.
How did you do that?
Let me get rid of the wireframe.
Okay.
We're still on the joint tab. Select draw vertices with bone colors.
Oh, gotcha.
And then
Okay.
now let's hide the skeleton. You can see that the Sim's hand is blue and the hammer is also blue, so
Oh,
they're assigned to the same joint.
oh, okay. But it's like, what about the other things that are blue? That doesn't matter, like the chest and the elbow.
Oh no, because that's it only displays so many colors.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
showing
Okay.
you all of the joint transitions.
Okay.
See the forearm and then the bicep and then the clavicle, or no, the upper arm and then the clavicle. It just smoothly
Mhm.
transitions from one to the next.
Okay.
Okay, so let's open up that template again. Now we go to animation mode. Animate, uncheck this. Animate,
Oh,
set keyframe. Animate, delete keyframe. Animate, recheck operate on selected joints only.
and that would be the hand.
But it would be whatever you select.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start all the way at spine 1, and then we rotate, select local. Because I only want to rotate this one a teeny tiny bit, so it doesn't really matter which of the axes you rotate it on, but just a tiny fraction of a number here. Rotate. And then I'm going to do the same thing with spine 2 and both clavicles. Let's do left
Where
clavicle.
are you entering that? Rotate.
So down below where
Oh,
you've got your
okay.
X, Y, and Z axes, it doesn't really
Uh-huh.
matter which one because it's so minuscule that you're not even going to see it. Just enter a value here and hit that rotate button.
Okay, and you're doing that with spine 1, clavicle, and upper arm?
No, upper arm we're actually going to rotate that, but I
Okay.
just locked both of the clavicles, spine 1 and spine 2.
Oh, spine, okay. Spine
Then
2.
let's rotate that upper arm down, in a little bit, maybe out, and then the forearm. Okay, we need to bring that upper arm up a little bit. And you see how the maul just kind of it moves with the rotation of the joint because it's assigned to the hand.
Yeah,
So the hand
that's
and
cool.
anything above it in the hierarchy is going to affect how the maul appears. Let's move that hand joint, not that way, out a little bit. Now just kind of like at this point we're just kind of playing with it, seeing what looks right.
Hmm.
Think I need to tweak his forearm just a little bit so that it's more horizontal. And then bring the hand up and in. And as always, check out that 3D viewport, especially when you're posing your fingers, because that lets you, well, with the exception of the thumb, it lets you know about where it's at. So we just tweak that thumb where that's the left viewport. So you just kind of roll it down like this. And then in the top viewport, we just, no, not, sorry, not top, the front viewport, we just kind of splay it open a little bit. And then we need to close thumb 1 and thumb 2 more. Close it up a little bit, and now we just curl the fingers around the haft of the maul. Nope, wrong way. So we curl the index, we curl the mid, we curl the pinky, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want it so for the
Okay.
demonstration.
So are we only doing the right hand right now, or
I
can we
yes,
pose the left?
I
Okay.
haven't gotten that far, but
Okay.
if you've done the right hand, then yeah, go ahead and move on to your left arm.
Would
Okay,
it would it
so
be this?
we need to okay, we fixed the clavicle, but we have not fixed the bicep. So we select the bicep, we go back to rotate and rotate it just a little tiny bit. Then we do the same thing with the right wrist. Just a little rotate.
What
So
happens if you don't rotate it? Will it like explode,
no,
or
it
what
just
is that?
it tends to do weird things. when you set the keyframe, you'll see that only the
Mhm.
joints that you operated on are yellow.
Okay.
And so in this case, like the clavicle can still move, the bicep can still move, the wrist, it creates kind of weird animations. So
Okay.
if at all possible, you want to lock everything. There, let's move that forward. Bring his forearm up like so.
So is it the same theory with the left arm? We want to lock every like
Yeah,
the
the
left
clavicle, the
clavicle.
bicep, and the wrist.
Okay.
Yeah, we just rough that in a little bit. And the thumb is always going to be wrong. No matter how
Um,
you pose it, no matter how careful you are, you're going to have to go back and fine tune it later.
so just a while.
Thumbs are just, they're not intuitive at all. What looks right in milk shape is going to be wrong in the
Mhm.
game.
Annoying.
So here, I'm okay with where the index is. Let's bend the fingertip down so that it's right around the haft of the maul. Then we do the same thing here. We do the same thing here. And I think that looks pretty good. Then we need to rough in. We need to fix the bicep. And we need to fix the wrist. Then you go animate, set keyframe, and like magic, only the joints you operated on have posing data. Only the joints that you operated on turn yellow. So just like that. Let's go ahead and save that as a milkshake file. We're going to call that model pose 1. And let's start a new pose. Let's open. I'm going to do adult female this time. Make sure you're in animate mode. I am not in animate mode. Am I? Can't tell. I am not. So we unselect that. We select set keyframe. We delete the keyframe and we reselect operate on selected joints only. This time I'm just going to do a quick thing with the arms. Why not? tweak the thumb a little bit. Now, always check out what's going on with your thumbs and your fingers in that 3D menu because, or the 3D viewport, because otherwise they can do weird things.
What is the 3D viewport you mentioned? Is that
The lower
another
right here, the
window
one that's
option?
blue.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, just move the fingers in a little bit so we don't get kung fu hands. And then ever hear that song, I'm a Little Teapot, when you were a kid?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Let's just move those fingers a little so that we avoid the kung fu hands. And
Yeah. I think it's because the ring finger, like if you look at your hand, the ring finger, like when you bend it, like it pulls down the middle finger.
yeah, a little bit. Okay, so you can see her clavicles, her spine. It's not a lot of this is locked, so we need to go back and lock those joints. Oh, we got spine 0. We need to lock spine
So
1.
is the idea like any joints we don't work on, that's free to do whatever else?
Yes, that one
And
it
that's what
will
makes it the
move with.
overlay?
Yeah, it will move with uh, the Maxis animation essentially.
Okay.
Left clavicle. And we need right bicep, right wrist, and then left bicep, and left wrist. And set our keyframe once again. And now you can see everything is locked. Okay, so 2 overlays. Now let's add them to the pose box. I enter ANIM mode, and we export the 5AN. Let's go to teapot. And we export the 5AN. Okay. So we good so far? Let me check the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ring finger is really odd. You have to kind of fudge it. It splits. It It's basically assigned 50% to the pinky and 50% to the middle finger. I have no idea why that is. Okay, we're done with milk shape. Let's open the test pose box. And now, let's clone one of our anims. I don't know what happened to Big Wheel. So I'm going to re-add Big Wheel, but that's just me. Let's add Mall Test, and let's add, well, we clone and then we replace. That's what I'm doing. Clone and replace with Teapot. Okay, then we need to make sure that these have unique instance and instance high values. So we go Tools, Object Tools, Fix Integrity. Don't mess with anything here. Just click OK, and voila. Now, we hop down, we go to the STR in the resource tree, then in the resource list, and then below Big Wheel, I'm going to put Mall Test and Teapot. Just like that. Now we go to the TTAS in the resource tree and then in the resource list. And the first one that says placeholder, swing mall. And then this next one, I'm a little teapot. Commit that and save. Let's check our behaves. Just want to make sure everything is right. So test pose 4 in the behave, that does point to mall test. So I'm going to call that mall test. And then test pose 5, teapot. So I'm just going to call that one teapot. By that I mean I'm changing the file name here. That's all I'm changing. We commit. We save. So we got our behaves, we've got our animation string, we've got our t-task, so we move to the t-tab. And we're missing the interactions in the t-tab, so we need to add those. Let's select the bottom line here. We go add. Change this to a 7. That didn't work. 7. And then the behave, we change that to 1007. Then we add one more. Change that to an 8. And we point to behave 1008. And then because I'm super extra, I'm moving all of these above the face overlays. So we just click on that move up button a few times. And we put it right under big wheel. And we do the same thing with the pose, with the teapot pose. Right under swing mall. We commit the T-tab. We save, and we're ready to test. Okay, so we've got 2 overlays, one with an accessory, one without. And let's do swing mall. And and there you have it. And you, as you can see, like for example, if I have him go here, He can walk, he can skip, he can jump, he can do anything with the lower torso. Only the joints that I selected remain locked. And let's have her do the same thing.
Oh no.
See, she's walking just fine. Only the joints that I lock stay locked. And for this one, it looks like her fingers clip into her belly a little bit because that's the real body shape. That's not Maxis AF. So we might have to roll the arm out just a little bit, or even the hand. And there you have it.